brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement Studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking host, the good old boys.
Welcome to this episode of Sips, Suds, and Smokes. Today's episode is a Suds segment recorded live at Avery Brewing Taproom, and we'll be discussing White Rascal, a Belgian Wit. There are plenty of tongue twisters during this episode, and as we are really enjoying way too much great beer while we were at Avery. Plenty of other great things going on here at Sips, Suds, and Smokes. A very big welcome to our new distribution partner, TuneIn Radio. To celebrate this event, we have a contest. Go figure. We would love to kick up our ratings on our various online distribution networks. So after you've enjoyed today's episodes, take the time and rate it. Share with us your favorite tongue twister or whatever you think about this show or any other episode. Send us an email at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com letting us know that you captured this rating, and we'll pick 6 winners at random to get a magical t-shirt between now and Thanksgiving 2013. We are now available on 6 online networks: iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, PRX, Facebook, and our native host, Spreaker. We are expanding our content as well with plenty of new locations and hosts coming up for Season 2. Hey, if you're actually interested in being on the radio, send us a note at that same email address with a link to your demo. Who knows? You could be having even more fun than us and want to share that experience with our audience. Well, let's get you to Avery Taproom in Boulder, Colorado now for today's Suds segment.
Suds, Suds, Suds. It's time for more Suds.
It most definitely is time for more Suds. Hello and welcome from GABF in Denver, Colorado. I'm your host today, good old boy Mike, and this is one of our favorite style of Suds shows to do. So we definitely had way too much beer already today.
It's a good problem.
We are here at the Avery Taproom in Boulder, Colorado, and we're going to be doing one of our audience participation shows, one of our favorite styles of shows. We don't get to do these nearly as often enough. It's very lively here today at the Taproom, so I apologize if you wanted to hear a nice, clean studio show. There's lots of background noise. Joining me for the first part of the segment are 2 of the fine fellows from Avery, Travis and Kyle. Today, our audience participation show, we're going to be tasting White Rascal from Avery. And I can't wait for you guys to tell us a little bit about this beer and how long has it been around, and, tell us all about it.
Sure. Well, I guess I can start as Travis from Avery. The White Rascal beer has been around for quite a few years. What's kind of interesting about this beer is I think it kind of flew under the radar for a long time. I mean, one of the beers that really came to the forefront for us was IPA. I mean, our IPA had been our best-selling beer for years up to this point, and literally within the last about 3 to 4 months, it took over. That is, White Rascal took over as our best-selling beer. And the brewery didn't really know how to handle that, I'll be completely honest.
And I think it's because wit beer is generally not a perennial style known here in the U.S.
Yeah,
and so I think that, that style of beer was very difficult to figure out, not just how to make it, which is probably the easier part of the equation.
Yeah.
It's how to market it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would totally agree with that, Mike. And I mean, I think a lot of it was that Avery's been known for years as the hop heads. They're hop freaks unite. I mean, that was our
Maharaja.
You got it. I mean, that one of my favorite beers that we put out, and so we really didn't know how to deal with that. And it was pretty interesting to see it in production meetings that, White Rascal's our best-selling beer now, as of I think it was like maybe March, April, May of this year.
Wow.
And really, really cool. And so when we started talking about it, it's like, this beer is dialed in. I mean, this is one of you can't get it much more perfect than this for a Belgian wheat. And why I would say that is, I mean, that style of beer has been around for a long time. I mean, we're talking about 800 years plus of time. And for a brewery that loves to make beer that is so on the cutting edge of everything, things that break traditional style.
To go back to a classic was a little tough to sell, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and I mean,
absolutely.
And that's the thing is, I mean, White Rascal, you can't get more traditional than this beer. I mean, it is 100% the way the Belgians would have made it.
So some of our audience may not be familiar with this style. So basically, it is a white Belgian. What's the grain underlying and some of the tasting characteristics of a traditional Belgian wit? And what does White Rascal have?
Absolutely. So primarily, when you're looking at a Belgian wit, you're looking at a very strong wheat presence. That's where we get our wit title. Although wit primarily refers to the whiteness of the beer or the white head of the beer. And so the actual use of wheat in it produced that. And for us, it's about 50% of the grain bill is wheat. That is actually what we have. But the rest of it has to do with the dry spicing. I mean, we are using a wit or a Belgian yeast to make the beer, but most of it comes down to the dry spicing of it. And that dry spicing has to do with orange peel and coriander. I mean, that is the basis for it.
That's the backbone.
You got it. And Caraco orange peel was one that goes all the way back for literally 8 to 9 centuries in the production of this style of beer, and that's what we use in the beer. And so we have a beer that is the traditional style of a Belgian wit, and man, delicious.
So Kyle, you get to watch people's reaction to this beer all day long, don't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what do people think when they go, oh my God, where's the hops?
Well, this beer, it's kind of fun to throw people a curveball, whether I get a lot of people who come in and tell me they don't like beer in general, which is kind of a funny place to go if you don't like beer. But normally people in their group do. And it's a really good beer for people for when hopheads try it and they're like, oh man, I actually enjoy something that's not very hop forward, that's not punching my teeth in,
giving my palate a break, basically.
Exactly. Like for me, I'll be like, well, I can drink this on a patio pretty much all day and be happy. But then there's also the people who have never really tried a lot of craft beer, and it's really nice that the really big hopheads will get into this, but also someone who might not necessarily take a step into craft beer, they get really excited about it too. It's a really fun way for me to kind of play with people and let them try new stuff, and seeing their reactions. It's always pretty fun when you can get that person smiling.
So I have a technical question then around this. Are you guys using the same yeast strain that you would use with other beers, or this is something brand new that you're basically bringing in specifically to go after a Belgian style, which I don't traditionally think of Avery as making a Belgian style of beer, which is not a bad thing. It's just, most people, it's like all Belgian, and that's all they make, as one yeast strain. So
yeah, no, that's a fantastic question. It actually is a yeast strain that we use in other beers. It is not the yeast strain that we typically use for our high gravity Belgian yeast strains for beers like Beast or Samails or something like that. But it is a traditional style Belgian yeast. It's been around for a long time. We typically with Truck, our master brewer, he likes to use ones that have been around for centuries from Trappist breweries. So yeah.
Well, it's great. Well, I really appreciate the brief conversation, letting you guys introduce this beer to our audience. And so I'm going to take a minute and rate the beer. Yeah. And we're going to deal with a little bit of some physical shuffle around while I'm doing this. So I've really enjoyed, I always really like great Belgian wit beers. And I guess the one thing that I always look at when I'm looking for these style beers is they're not too sweet. I think it's very easy for a wit beer to basically just go way too sweet too quick. Or there's way too much orange. I'm not going to mention another brewery that they pride themselves on actually dropping an orange slice, at the same time. I won't mention who that is. I don't want to badger anybody that's been bought recently by a large, conglomerate or anything like that. But anyway, I guess the reason, the thing that I like is this beer stands very well on its own. And, for that, I really give some props out. It's great that, I think that Avery has stepped out with a new style beer. So my rating for the White Rascal is going to be 2. Oh, I'm sorry. It's going to be 3. So really, I think it's a great choice, and I really look forward to enjoying this for a very long period of time. So,
Excellent.
All right, fellas, I'm going to let you guys stand up, and we're going to ask some folks that have been here at the tap room to join us here for a minute about what they enjoy about this beer as well. There's a lot of beers here on tap, at the tap room itself. So if you have not stopped by the tap room here in Boulder, Colorado, there are a lot of beers that are only available here on the tap room itself, and they've really pulled all the stops out for GABF itself. All right, so for our audience participation segment of this, I've asked 2 unlikely candidates to step up and talk about what they think about White Rascal. So first up is going to be
Good old boy Mitchell.
Thanks for joining us, good old boy Mitchell. And you have been enjoying the White Rascal?
I love it. Earlier I heard you mention that you gave it a 3.
Yep.
I feel like it's a 5. I mean, it's my first
5.
love. It's my
Listen
first
to
love
that
here.
Tom. Give me another. Wow. We don't dish those out here very often. In fact, I can almost count on one hand I've rated things 5. So I'm glad you really love it. So what is it that you like about it so much?
I'm not originally from Colorado. I'm new to Colorado, about a year old, and I've met the Avery folks, and not much of a beer drinker, and this became my first love.
Yeah. This is what I call a good back porch beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
Good back porch. Get away from some in-laws beer. Yeah. All right. So the most important question I'm going to ask you today is, what is your favorite '80s pop band?
I'm going to have to say Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
Oh, that kind of drifted into the '90s, but Living on a Prayer. And that they're.
That's how I feel these days.
Living on. So, do you collect Bon Jovi's albums, or it's like you just wore that one song or that one album out?
I just think he's a cool cat. I did have a dog once that I named Jovi.
Okay. You didn't name him White Rascal?
No, not White Rascal. I hadn't met White Rascal yet.
That'll be your next dog.
My next dog's going to be White Rascal.
All right. So good old boy Mitchell, 1 CD of Bon Jovi, will make you a happy guy, as well as a 6-pack of White Rascal, right?
Yes.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it. And next up to sharing our audience participation is going to be
Caitlin.
And Caitlin, thanks for joining us. You've been able to sample the White Rascal. What do you think about it?
I do love White Rascal. I'm from Wisconsin originally, so I have tasted my fair share of beers.
Oh, man. So...
And not that I'm like a beer snob, but...
I'm telling you, the land of New Glarus.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
yeah.
I'm telling you, that's tough.
So, kind of comparing it to what I know and love, it's porch drinking, it's all-day drinking, and it's just good. It's kind of like classic is what I like to think of White Rascal.
Well, I hang out in Door County a little bit, so
Sure.
I kind of know what goes, what people like to drink, on that side of the planet. But, it's just... Milwaukee is such a strong, beer central.
Sure.
A lot of people don't realize how many beers were created in Milwaukee.
Yeah, the original.
Truly, yeah. I mean, there were, at one point in time, I heard there were almost 50 beers that were created in Milwaukee. So, it must be something in the water, or the tax laws, one or the other.
Who knows?
All right, so what do you think about what's your rating here for White Rascal on 1 to 5 then?
I will give it a 3 as well.
3 as well. How about that? Was that a belch? Well,
it's a long day of drinking. Belch.
Well, those are definitely some good choices. Now, have you enjoyed other wit beers?
Yes.
You have?
It's one of my favorite styles, actually.
So, what do you think about some of the tasting highlights of this? Do you think it's well balanced, or too much orange, or too much, coriander, or kind of what do you think about it?
I think for the style that it is, and from what I know is not necessarily a beer aficionado, is that it is pretty balanced. And you can get a lot of the citrus notes, as well as the wheat. There's not too much, I think.
So you like wheat beers, or you like traditional barley grain? Yeah? You like wheat?
I do like wheat, yeah.
Okay.
I do like that flavor. Now, I mean, I don't want it to punch me in the face either, just like hops, but I enjoy it.
Well, the most important question of the day is, what is your favorite 80s pop band?
Well, Again, not necessarily just 80s, but my favorite is Madonna. Madonna in the 80s.
Like a virgin.
That's right.
Heard it for the very first time. Can you sing any good Madonna songs? I'm really doing a bad job.
Just like a prayer. That's my favorite.
Okay, all right. That's fabulous. Well, thanks for joining us for this quick
Thank
segment.
you.
And joining us here in the tap room. Enjoy the rest of the White Rascal. And I look forward to more Madonna hits in the future as well.
Thank you very much.
Well, finishing up for the show is none other than Reverend Mark.
Hey, man.
So we've had a good time, here at the Avery Taproom today. We've had a lot of great beers, haven't we?
This has been amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing flight of about, 18 beers
We
just
had
had.
a really good taste down. I mean, it was...
and all the tap exclusives.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it was really nice to be able to get a hold of some things that neither one of us has really had the privilege of tasting, that we can get a hold of, as well. So, first off, let's talk about the White Rascal. What do you think about it?
I think it's spot on. I think this is actually in my 12-year, sort of hobby period of trying to dial in on certain kind of beer styles. And I'm very much one that tries to encourage people that are getting into brewing to brew true to style. I think this is very true to style. So no, as a matter of fact, I also believe that the wit beer is what I would call a gateway beer. That is, it is the one beer that can kind of bring your Budweiser drinkers over into the land,
Or I would almost say non-beer drinkers,
and even non-beer drinkers.
I don't like beer. It's too bitter. It's too heavy. This tastes like mother's milk.
Right.
Drink it with a straw.
And I also think that the wit beer, in this particular rendition of wit beer, would have been a really good example for us to have highlighted on our lawnmower beer segment as well.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's unfortunate that wasn't part of that series as well. So, compared to other wits in the pack, at the top, at the bottom, where do you kind of put this one?
It's right up there at the top. I mean, it's certainly, historically, Hoegaarden has been seen as sort of the benchmark. One of my favorites from years back was Celis out of, Austin, Texas.
Yeah, sure.
But this, from the stats that I'm looking at that relate to this beer at Avery, it's right at the higher end but acceptable end of gravity. So it's not too big a white beer. We're seeing a lot of that these days, like Imperial White, which I think is an oxymoron. And I'm not getting too much spice or orange in this. It's there, but it's in the background. It's where it needs to be. And it's a very quaffable, hot day kind of beer. And even in the middle of the winter, it's one that you probably need a pint or two before you get into the really, heavy porch warmer, barley wine, Imperial IPA sort of thing.
Yeah. So what's your suds rating going to be on this?
I give it a 4.
A 4. Wow. Awesome. So, and the most important question for you is, what's your favorite 80s pop band?
I guess if they qualify as an 80s pop band, I guess they do. I mean, my favorite band in the 80s was The Police.
Ooh, The Police. Yeah. A Sting fan.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't peg you as that, so... So, you like Ghost in the Machine? Is that your favorite?
And Synchronicity? Oh, yeah. All of that.
Man. I'm telling you, they wore out that drum track on Synchronicity.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, I agree. Well, I didn't fess up to my own favorite 80s rock band, which I'm going to confess is going to be Genesis. That was the easy one for me. So
with Phil Collins?
Definitely with Phil Collins. As Phil slid into the lead role, I definitely enjoyed that. Invisible Touch, great album.
I think I have a longer list of not so favorite 80s bands.
That's for sure. A few that would definitely not make the cut. Well, it was a really great time here at the Avery Taproom. Boy, I need another beer.
I don't think so.
Anyway, it was really great. I want to thank the folks at Avery for being really great hosts for us this afternoon, and look forward to future segments with our audience participation shows. If you've not checked us out online, definitely check us out on Twitter at SipSudsSmoke. Email us anytime at sipsudsandsmokes@gmail.com. You can definitely check out all the great news about our show on Facebook as well. For right now, I want to thank Reverend Mark for joining us.
Good to be here, as always.
And this is good old boy Mike, and I'm going to ask you to keep on sipping.
This has been a One Tan Hand production of Sips, Suds, and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see you all next time.